Welcome to the November 30th, 2021 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened during Hanukkah. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist.
And this is the third crazy night, is it not?
By the time people are hearing this, yeah, I guess it's the second day leading to the third crazy night.
Yeah, there you go.
Define crazy night. Is it?
It's a night. It's a night. Is what it
It's
is.
a night.
It's a night.
For
I know like the crazy buying season is beginning. Like the American physics gorging season has ended, and now comes the crazy buying season.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
we're just coming off of Black Friday and Cyber Monday here as well. Towards the end of the podcast, I'm definitely going to talk about some of the deals that I got. Because GameStop has relatively good deals. Surprisingly
I
so.
capitalized on exactly one thing.
Well, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that later, but we did want to talk a little bit about the news and such. So probably like the biggest thing that happened this week was Epic Games bought Harmonics, which is a pretty big deal. I mean, Harmonics isn't what it used to be, but they some people may not know who they are at this point. I guess
they were the rock band or the what was the other?
So Neversoft was Guitar Hero, but Harmonix made Guitar Hero 1 and 2, and then Neversoft made the remainder of Guitar Hero when they split off to be Rock Band after that.
Does that
Rock
mean
Band.
That all the various custom characters from Rock Band will be in Fortnite?
Yeah, I mean,
but
Naruto uses a gun. You know, anything goes.
I think the last game that I remember them making was Fantasia for the Xbox One Connect. I think, yeah.
Damn, I can't imagine why they fell into obscurity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like their time passed, but I think maybe Rock Band 4 might have been a thing.
Rock Band falling into obscurity. Wow, what poetic.
Yeah. So Rock Band 4 was a thing, so that was in 2015. That was 6 years ago at this point. Let me see if there was anything after that was of any no. I mean, they made Drop Mix, which was pretty cool, which was a board game where you made your own DJ set.
I didn't realize that was still Harmonix.
Oh yeah. No, they make a lot of cool stuff. I mean, they have Rock Band VR. One of my favorite things. So they started off making a series called Frequency and Amplitude. So the first game was called Frequency, and I loved that game. I was like one of the few people that I knew of that played it. It was like a first party PlayStation 2 title that was kind of under the radar, but it's a rhythm game.
In college, our friend Luminaire had Amplitude. I didn't know Frequency existed at the time.
Yeah. Amplitude, it was the sequel, and it was better in some ways, but not in others. Like, Frequency was cool because it had a really neat rotating, like, tube that you went around to switch lanes to, whereas Amplitude, you kind of had to, like, watch what you were doing so you could get to the other lanes, because you could only go left and right, kind of like you do in...
To be honest, I feel like that sort of this music rhythm games had a big fallout recently, like for a few years by now. Like I remember games like Audio Surf, Beat Hazard, and I even had, what was that game called? Drive Any Tracks.
I mean,
Rephraser, which was its other name, which, mind you, was a great little idea, but they shut down their server, so the game is unusable right now, because without connecting to servers, it cannot read up music. So,
well, people forget like just how like popular their games were. I mean, like you also had Karaoke Revolution, which was also a big hit. You had Guitar Hero, of course, Guitar Hero 2. Rock Band was gigantic. Just a gigantic hit. Rock Band
yeah,
2, Beatles Rock Band, and then they had all the different spin-offs after that. But Beatles was like the highlight. Like that was like when they put in like the most production value. But they also had like Green Day and Lego and a few like other things. And then there was Dance Central, which was their 360 Connect game, which was also really popular for the Connect when that was popular. So like it was a pretty big deal. They have one unusual game. There was a shmup that they made called A City Sleeps. I don't know if either of you ever played that. But
I heard of it, but I cannot, for the love of God, visualize it in my head right now.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun twin stick shooter, actually. But it only really came out on Windows, so like it didn't get the popularity that it should have. And it's a shame because it really could have had some more popularity if it went to consoles.
It was like sort of left to right shooter, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it was twin stick, so it was a little bit of a twist there. But there's a rhythm component to that too. So I they're a great company. I really like their attitude. It's just they kind of probably have fallen on harder times just because trends, but like the quality of their products have always been good. They made a sequel to Amplitude as well that for the PS4 that was excellent. I really loved it, and it came out for PS3 as well. But the second Amplitude game was really good. I really recommend it if you like EDM kind of music. It was quite good.
I'm not. It's not actually a written game, but it's kind of music related. But there's no straight roads. I don't know how much it belongs into this category.
Well,
not really.
Yeah, but I really love this company, and they probably have probably their worth is all like wrapped up in what licenses they managed to like land and keep. So I bet you like Epic Games really wants like access to like the licenses that they have. So that's probably a big reason why they probably acquired them.
Like what I want to think, like this is like there are big monies in like people, well, not the player base, but mostly the companies really think that the biggest idea is the whole upscaling of video games, like making a HD packs and such things. So like making it available for the Steam store, when we're talking about Epic, sorry, Reflex, the Epic store page would let's say have all the Rockstar games. I think that would be a start. Like well, I pardon me. I could even imagine like you could use like a keytar version where you could hold your keyboard like the
well,
like a guitar.
That's something I was gonna mention is that like I guess you could use a controller, but the whole thing with those games was the musical instrument accessories.
Yeah, I mean, what was even cooler, really cool about them is like eventually they got to the point where they could even teach you like basic stuff, like regarding like like especially like the drums, like you really were taking a beginner course on how to play the drums when you were playing that, and eventually they added support for real instruments in those games. I think starting with Rock Band 3. So like, and also they had the keytar, which is, just playing a keytar. So
I think that like those, I don't know what kind of ports those, what is it? What are they called? Not instruments, like not feature.
Just the accessories.
Let's call them accessories. Like there is another word for it. But
peripherals.
Peripherals. That's the one. Yeah.
Those peripherals can be. I don't know it can be, but I'm fairly sure there are some clever clocks who could basically port it into the PC, like make a custom port to it and make some sort of.
Yeah, I can see Brooke
like
doing
use
that.
it as a controller. Yeah.
Not just like not the control, but the code for it, so it works properly. And then
you can beat Dark Souls with it.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go. Like, so you would see them people doing the. Let's take it modern, beating Doom Eternally with the with the guitar controller.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say Ornstein and Smog with like the PS2 guitar controller. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Harmonics had like a lot of really cool people working there, and one of the things that they prided themselves on was the quality of the recordings that they got. They would actually, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but they're basically responsible for a lot of the like remasters of a lot of popular songs out there, because what they would do is they would rescan the individual tracks, like from when they recorded it. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but like, you know, you don't in the recording studio, you don't perform as a band. They record every instrument
Separate, yes.
like individually, and so they took some of those old reel to reels and like and basically remastered those songs, because like, if you think about it, when you play the Rock Band like tracks in the game, like it doesn't play unless you play. So like, you can hear the other parts just going without like the drum part, for instance.
That is
you know,
a good point.
Like they actually basically remastered those songs, and a lot of the remasters that you hear on like you know, streaming services now, I think are the genesis of a lot of the work done there. So like a lot of music preservation happened because of that. So it's really neat stuff. But yeah, I mean the people in the Harmonics are like, you know, really love what they're doing, but kind of I think they're kind of pigeonholed. You know, like they are basically tied to like a rhythm.
Yeah, even their
theme.
name. Like, are you really gonna release like a fantasy beat 'em up or something under Harmonics?
Yeah, exactly. And even their
could.
shmup had a rhythm component to
Yeah.
it. So, you know, each their own, I guess. But you know, I think they would have benefited from maybe branching out a little bit and evolving a little bit.
Yeah, like it's important to mold break.
Yeah, exactly. But I think maybe under Epic Games, you know, they might have a second life, because Epic Games has like infinite money. So,
Well, right now they have, until they stop being like, they can't absorb any more content, and they were going to be the one being absorbed.
yeah. Well,
we'll see.
We'll see. So, but you know, I'm usually not a fan of corporate consolidation. So I just hope that their brand isn't lost. I hope they don't get dissolved.
Yes,
because
well,
that's
I
something.
wanted to start it with like, hopefully this is not just snag mine now and they're going to just sit on it and do nothing with it, which is
Yeah, they might
happens
just do
a little
that.
bit more often than should.
Yeah, I was gonna say the EA style where they release one game and they're like, oh, that wasn't very good, and just kill the company.
Or Activision, where they do release good games, but you know, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like they release
Do
good
they
games that
release
sell
good
well,
games?
and then they kill them anyway.
Like the recent Activision games were kinda subpar.
No, I mean they had some good ones. I mean they had the Crash Bandicoot games, they had the Spyro games, and they also had the Tony Hawk remaster, which were all you know, critically
But those were
acclaimed.
I thought but those were in case they were just publishers, right?
No, but they dissolved the developer of all of those games, and they all sold well, and they were all good. Like they dissolved like the branch of the company that was really like getting people back that aren't interested in Call of Duty interested in that company, and they just like shat all over it.
Well,
they were even making a good new Crash game. I mean, like the fourth game is considered, you know, very good. It's really a shame. But,
well, nowadays there are news that Bobby Kotick might be leaving. Not sure.
Yeah,
but
well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure he's really gonna feel the pain.
I'm really doubt that. Like I'm sure he has all kinds of cronies backing him up on the board of directors. So I think getting rid of him is going to be difficult unless he wants to leave. Because he's made that company so much money. and will continue to it because people are going to continue to play Call of Duty. I mean, like, despite all the shittiness, people are still going to play Call of Duty. They're going to continue to. All the people that are playing Call of Duty don't care about this. They're going to continue to play it, and like they're not going to switch to Battlefield.
Relive the D-Day. I have to ask.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on from that, this is a weird one. Like Atari or whatever the hell, the current version of Atari, which is basically a shell company that owns like the licensing rights to like Atari stuff to license it out. Like this is not the Atari of old. Like none of these people were with the company back then. Like this. There's no love in this Atari company.
I think it's at this point, it's better from Shell. We can call it a husk company.
Yeah, it's just like a board of directors that licenses out Atari licenses, and puts it out every once in a while. But they bought, of all things, Moby Games, which is a pretty big resource for the database of games that it has. So it's. Yeah, and it's been fan run up until now, and it should be independently run, but and Atari, like the current version of Atari's been kind of scummy. So like just like they, I don't know, they're willing to shill like constantly, and they don't really care about the quality of the products.
As long as, like, I don't know what, like, Moby Games is just basically Wikipedia for games, but
yeah,
like there will be more Atari commercials on it, and that's it. It's not like if the information flow does not change, it's not going to add or subtract anything, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I never really use them, and I think that the database on GameFAQs and Giant Bomb has been more helpful. But still, Moby Games has been around for a really long time, so they have the benefit of like having like put titles on there like as they were happening. Like iOS games and cell phone games that normally somebody wouldn't go back and detail as well. So like, it's a shame to see it lose its its independent self. So and to a company that really doesn't care anything about anything. So it's not like like if Gabe Newell like bought Moby Games, I would be like happier with that because he at least has like scruples. Like he has certain things that he lives by. Despite what your criticism might be of Steam, he's a big proponent of open platforms and VR and trying new things. So like he does stand for certain things. So no, there's nobody with any scruples at Atari. They're just licensing out that name to anybody who wants it. Any of those games. So it's really kind of a shame.
Those people who pays enough money for the license, not just
exactly.
Wants it, but
I'm sure it's not a lot. Anyway, moving on to happier stuff. This is a cool one that I think Lotus and I were pretty delighted to see. Enigma Archives, Rain, Code Rain. I'm sorry, I have that backwards in here, but or is it Rain Code? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if you're going outside, you might need a raincoat.
No, it's Raincode. I was right. It was announced by Spike Chunsoft, and it is being co-developed by Tukyo Games, which is the creative leads behind the Danganronpa series. So this is gonna be kind of like their new thing. Not a whole lot was shown about it other than the art style. The art style looks very much like Danganronpa. No surprise there, but it looks like there's investigation in it, but it looks to be done in a 3D space, unlike Danganronpa, which was always... It was in a 3D space, but done from like a fixed perspective.
Yeah, the actual investigative parts were 2D, but when you're going from room to room, in the first game anyway, you can move around in an actual 3D space.
Yeah, and usually, what you were investigating was like a 3D room, but you usually were looking at it from a certain perspective.
Yeah, the rooms were it was what was that?
Locked angle.
Yeah, like the investigative parts were like effectively 2D, but the hallways were pure 3D.
Correct. But this looks to be like a full 3D experience. Like you actually like move a third person character through an area, but there hasn't been much shown, so I can't really comment on much. But I know that the writing on those games was always really great. I played 1 and 2. I didn't get a chance to play through 3.
A murder mystery.
Yeah, I mean a visual novel. The whole thing is the writing, right? But I mean. What was that?
Like if that, it's not entirely a visual novel. It's more like a mystery game with visual novel elements. But I'm okay with that. I do prefer.
I mean, there's some crossover there. I mean, there's certainly some crossover there. There's some visual novel elements for sure.
Yeah, I would say like it's probably visual novel with investigative elements. Like
exactly.
I mean, there's more gameplay. There's more standard gameplay than there is in Phoenix Wright, but still.
I just wanted to mention Phoenix Wright as well. Like, what would that considerate?
Oh, like, I would consider that a visual novel too.
I would still say VN. I mean, like there are lots of stuff where you can't necessarily. I mean, it's like animal classification. Like, not everything is going to fit perfectly, so you're just gotta fudge it.
I mean, there are certain visual novels that are just reading, right? Like, and they're
like Higurashi,
not
where
even
it's
choices.
Literally just press X, and that's the entire thing.
Yeah, and then there are sound novels which have voice acting in them and stuff like that. But I mean, this is certainly I think a part of the visual novel genre which spawned off of a murder mystery video game series to begin with. The Portopia murder mysteries are basically where like console visual novels started. So I mean,
for a corpse.
Portopia, it was like the original Famicom or something.
Yeah, for the original Famicom, and it's where Spike Chunsoft got started. Yuji Horii made those games before he made Dragon Quest. Spike Chunsoft has been there since the beginning, believe it or not. But anyway, I'm excited about this. Yeah, and here's another one: 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, which was a cult hit, I would say, on PS4, and PC was announced for Switch. So a lot of people really love it. It was made by Vanillaware, who previously made Dragon's Crown and Odin Sphere and quite a few other things.
Muramasa.
Muramasa.
There is a few moments where you can see their art really, really well. Like
Vanillaware is known for their art. George Kamitani is like the CEO and artist of Vanillaware. He actually got his start making beat 'em ups for Capcom. In fact, it shows in Dragon's Crown. If basically it's like the D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons Capcom games. It's like the spiritual successor to those.
Sure.
And he made those.
Fully aware what Dragon Crown is. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to forget the Sorceress and the Amazon.
That's for sure. But I'm not getting into that. But yeah. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, like a lot of people really loved it, and you can actually get it pretty cheap right now. But like I think a lot of people who did play it really loved it.
I only see a full walkthrough of it, and I must say the story is a trip. It is like literally a trip from A to point B to point C. It is a journey.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is usually as an interest returning back
like
to visual novels.
Almost like a isn't it like a like what are those games called? Like almost like a tower defense game, isn't it?
No,
that's what I heard.
The game is split in two halves. One is almost a visual novel, slight with very small puzzle elements on it, where you're walking around as the people. and the combat is sort of this hybrid real-time strategy game with the ability to pause.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good because at least like you can get pretty powerful attacks for your units, and generally it's always the same. Like the game improves that as you introduces more objectives, more enemy types, etc., etc., more mechanics.
Sure.
But it's the same mission, but it's keeping it fresh and tense. So it's pretty nice.
Awesome. Well, that this is a game to be excited for, especially on the Switch, because
Yep.
I always say, this is a visual novel, another visual novel with action elements, and visual novels are very much at home on the Switch, so I think that'll do really well. Also out as of today, the release date of this podcast, a Clockwork Aquario is coming out. Do either of you know what Clockwork Aquario is?
Yeah, it was that game for the Super Nintendo that was never made, but now is
No,
or
it was
Genesis or
actually
something.
it's actually a lost arcade game.
Okay.
Really?
Made
I never
made
heard
by
of it, sadly.
well, seldom people have heard of it because it was a game that was never released. Made by Westone, makers of the Monster World games, the original Monster World games.
It does kind of have that aesthetic.
Oh, the Monster World is that platform, sort of Metroidvania plus,
Yep.
like Metroidvania-like game where you have this little monster following you around.
Yeah, so that's
yeah,
Monster
like,
World 4.
Yeah, Asha in Monster World is Shantae before Shantae.
Okay.
Yeah. So it started off as Wonder Boy, which then it got ported into Adventure Island, and then there was a second Wonder Boy game, and then they made the Adventure Island series kind of spun off and did its own thing, and
Okay.
and then probably the most famous Wonder Boy game is Wonder Boy 3, Dragon's Curse, Dragon's Trap. That one was remade recently.
With something. Never mind.
And then the third one, or the fourth game, there's so many of them, and they branch off and have stupid naming conventions. But the fourth one is Monster World 4 with the girl, and she has like this little monster that follows her around, little blue guy.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, so they made an arcade game that never got officially released, and the original like head of Westone still had the original prototype board, and he decided to dump it and publish it, which is really awesome. So not only did he preserve it, but he also like made it easy for people to play it. Which is really, really, really awesome. And the aesthetics of the game are beautiful. It looks basically just like an old Westone game, but with like more color depth. So like any of those Genesis games that they used to make.
This is sort of a platformer as well, right?
It's like a beat 'em up platformer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it's finally being released after many years of kind of like trying to get the workings of it. I think Kurt Collada, friend of the show from Hardcore Gaming 101, had originally seen like a tweet from him from like almost 10 years ago or something, like or an internet post. It might have even been before tweets about getting this game somehow published on modern consoles, and this is an amazing feat. You'll be able to buy it for PS4 or Switch, I believe. So. And they are Strictly Limited is putting out the physical version of this as the only one that I know of as far as I can tell.
Their website says it's exclusive to them.
Okay, well at least in Europe then anyway, right?
Well, I think in Europe and the U.S. Like I don't think the U.S. is getting like a retail. I think Strictly Limited is it, unless maybe Japan has retail versions.
Okay, so I've had this one reserved for a very, very long time, so I can't wait to finally get that in my hands because this is something special. It's not it's an arcade game from back in the day that like never had a chance to come out, and now it's out. So, what were you about to say?
Uh, if you finish with that part, just wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
inject something because
sure.
Clockwork reminded me something that has been shown around, and I don't know if you guys saw it. Have you heard of Lies of P?
I don't think so.
No, no.
Ooh, that's interesting. I saw this video, and it's basically someone basically set up and said if Sony is not going to port Bloodborne to PC, then we're going to do our own Bloodborne. And what we can understand from the trailers and the stuff, that it is a Victorian style world where instead of monsters you see sort of these wooden and copper and brass automatons, and it's kind of leaning heavily implying that this is a sort of nightmare imagining of Pinocchio.
Oh
Oh, I
wow.
think I might have heard of this actually. I know
And
I know
like
there's some Pinocchio thing. I didn't know the name Lies of P.
and
Wow.
like and you are basically this young sort of Victorian young man, who possibly an automaton using a mechanical arm like in Sekiro, like using grappling hooks, like using magic sort of weapons like lightning and fire, using modifiable weapons like in Bloodborne. So
Crazy.
interesting.
And
Yeah, yeah.
the final boss
I'm
asks you
curious,
embarrassing
but
questions, and you have to tell the truth, or else.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this, and Strictly Limited. Speaking of, also revealed that they have a new Taito collection in the works. So this one is really interesting because it delves into a lot of Taito's really early titles, which Taito is one of the better companies at like re-releasing their old games, but like this even has like some stuff that like I don't think was
Yeah, this is like
have
OG elevator action.
yeah, yeah. So you can get a hold of OG Elevator Action. It's part of the arcade archives on Switch and PS4,
also
but it's included on there. What was that?
Also, just a small insertion that there's also a remake coming for Monster Rancher 1 and 2. I heard.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, I did
Monster
hear about
Rancher.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. How are they gonna allow you to put a CD if nothing has a drive anymore?
I don't know, but it was
Each
really
copy of the
interesting.
game comes with a $40 external CD drive.
You have to insert your NFTs.
Yeah,
But
great.
anyway.
Oh, gee.
But
Oh my
anyway,
goodness, no.
another one of the games. This is Taito Milestones, which is what it's called. It comes with the original Elevator Action, which I'm disappointed that
Of course.
they're not like doing some of the rare or late titles, because like the rare late titles are like really good. Like the late Taito games are really really good. Like Elevator Action Returns and like Bubble Symphony. Like those games need more modern ports, but we'll continue on here. Frontline, which is kind of like Commando, like almost like Capcom's Commando, overhead like battle game. Haley's Comet, which is a really interesting vertical shmup. I actually really like that one. I played that one recently. Kicks, which I've talked to Lotus about recently. This is the game where you carve out territory and try to avoid something that's bouncing
Yes.
around in the middle of the screen.
Yeah, there was a PC version of DOS version of this called
Yeah,
Warfield.
Jazz Ball was the one that I knew.
Yes.
But yeah, there were
Oh,
like
Jazz Ball
billions
was
of them.
great.
It's a
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
classic. It also had two iterations. One was where you trace the side of the place as a little dot and like slowly tron bike yourself little areas. And there was one version where you use the cursor to place like a vertical or horizontal wall that would expand, and if you hit an enemy, you lose a life. But if you that, then it would
Oh yeah, no, that's
cover
just
one
straight up.
side.
That's just straight up like the same thing that Jazz Ball is. It's good times.
Yeah, yeah. So Kicks. Well, Jazz Ball it just draws a line. This one you actually
Yes.
like have to draw a box,
Yeah,
but it's the same
again,
concept.
like in Tron.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah,
draw a little line, except you don't die if you hit your own line. You just section off a area.
yeah.
I
So
kind of sorry, I just wanted to say, like, it kind of sort of sad that this kind of game was never, never interpreted that with like either as a mini game or as a full game with extra mechanics using modern.
Well, I was just gonna mention that this type of game is more famous for being like the world's first like dirty games. Like they have like all kinds of very sultry games with like nudie pics in the background, like while you play them.
Yes, because
and revealing
you could see like a girl lying on a bed with full clothes, and as you draw in, you slowly strip away the clothing.
Exactly.
I can imagine that people would do that, but that is a niche area for mischievous people.
Yeah, so that they were really kind of the world's first like skeezy games that made it into like bars and stuff like that. But yeah, what else is there? Space Seeker, which I don't know that one. Fairyland Story, that's another single screen puzzle game that Taito's known for. The original Ninja Warriors, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
because that's a 3-screen game. So
I've finally seen what happens at the end of that game, and it's just interesting because the final boss of what is now known as Ninja Saviors, he's the final boss of the first game too. But like,
oh really?
Yeah, but like, it's not a sequel.
Much smaller
I think
version.
It's just a reimagining because like, you're pretty hell bent on going after this guy in both games.
Well, Ninja Saviors is a much better game, but
it is
kind of
Ninja Warrior has like there's just a certain attitude about it.
Yeah. It's just one of those games that like first of all like never really got too many ports back in the day. There was like kind of a bad Sega CD port and like one that didn't have like the full aspect ratio of the 3 screens, obviously. So this only recently was brought to the Switch individually a la carte. But this is a really cool game to play, especially if you like the sequel. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
the sequel gives you a lot more to do with a lot cooler like robots with different special moves. Because in the first game, I think you played pretty much the same way.
It's basically like Kung Fu. It's like a single screen, single
yeah.
Like
there were two players. There were 2 different robots, but they played about the same. But like, there's just something about how long a level is, and you're just how slow and deliberate you are. Because
very long.
Ninja Saviors plays more like a traditional beat 'em up with all sorts of cool stuff to do. But that first game, it's slow and repetitive and deliberate, like by design. You might get bored by it after a time, but like when you see where it goes, like the whole game just has a sense of inevitability to it. It's like, like
the march towards death.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Like when you beat Ninja Savior, you're like, oh, was I the bad guy? But like way before you beat Ninja Warriors, you're kind of like, I might be the bad guy.
Yeah, because you're I think you basically explode at the end. Like, aren't you like?
Well, that's in Ninja Saviors.
Yeah, aren't you like
because you fight
on a kamikaze mission?
The final boss, and then it goes, and then you activate your self-destruct, and you're like, what? But like in Ninja Warrior, that final boss, who was an actual fight in Ninja Savior, like you finally get to him in his mansion, and you beat all his cronies, and the guy's just like, and he just like backs up against the wall, like he just has nowhere to go, and you just slowly approach him and just fucking kill him, and then you self-destruct. Like you feel like that's what I was saying. In Ninja Savior, it's like a reveal at the last possible second that you're the bad guy, but in Ninja Warrior, like ooh, like even before you self-destruct, you're like, oh man.
Well, there's also Wild Western in this collection, which is an overhead Western title. Yeah, I think it's like a train robbery kind of situation in that. There's Alpine Ski, which is very reminiscent of Ski Free. It's probably like Ski Free was inspired by Alpine Ski, for sure, because there weren't very many.
The Yeti from Ski Free though. That guy will run your ass down.
And if you press X, I think, or F.
It is possible to kind of outrun him, but like there comes a point where just another one comes out. Like it really just turns into if you slow down or hit anything, then it's over. So you're just like, how long could I go before they just grab me?
It's a war of attrition. Yeah.
I do like that this like ski free was like reference the Magica. Like, there is a level where you see like there is a guy who like there is this medieval magic world, and you are free, you're a wizard walking, and suddenly this modern ski guy appears, jumps over a rainbow colored ramp, lands in front of you, and the Yeti comes and eats it.
That's fantastic.
The final title in Taito Milestones is actually probably the most special of the bunch. It's an early game for Taito that they never really re-released. I think they only put out a port of it on the SG-1000, like the original Master System. Like way back, like in Japan only, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say the system that we know as the Master System was like the 3000.
It was the Mark III, the third version.
Yeah, Mark III. There we go. Yeah.
But Chak and Pop actually has the precursor to the characters that would go on to be in Bubble Bobble. So it's pretty important to Taito's legacy because Bubble Bobble is obviously like Taito's like mascot.
And that game,
that
game goes deep. Well, not deep. Well, what I wanted to say, like that is an old game.
Oh yeah, Bubble Bobble. But Chak and Pop is from '83, which is pretty damn early. And it was originally like a PC game that they made into an arcade game. So like somebody else made it, but they cutesified it, and the enemies are the Baron von Blubbas from Bubble Bobble. You know, the characters that rush you off the screen if you're taking too long.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So Chak and Pop is pretty damn important to the legacy of the company. Jeremy Parrish did like a video on the SG-1000 one like this week, and he was just like, "Whoa! I was having such a hard time getting footage like of the arcade version of this because it's damn near impossible to play like anywhere, and this is really awesome that I just put this out at the right time because like I was just talking about how hard it is to play Chak and Pop these days. So it's pretty awesome. So moving on from that, we also have the release of this came out on Switch, DoDonPachi Daiojo, which is the fourth DonPachi game. So there's DonPachi, DoDonPachi, and there's DonPachi 2 if you count it, and then there's Daiojo, and this is Sai Daiojo. Yeah. So no, this is Daiojo. Yeah, no, I get them all confused because they're of course in another language, so I can't understand.
Flavors of Lightning.
Well, no, it's just like they keep adding like Sai and Dai. Like Daiojo means like grand resurrection. It's the fourth or fifth one depending on which ones you count, because like this DonPachi 2 was not made by Cave. That's why. But anyway, this is one of the best games in the series, and it's out for $20 digitally on Steam, like or on Switch. Like, just go out and buy it. It's awesome. It's a really, really good game. This is not Daiojo. Daiojo's the one before it. This is Resurrection, which is Daifukatsu. Yeah, so this is Daifukatsu. I'm sorry.
I kind of still miss games like Tyrion, though. The PC version of shoot 'em ups.
Yeah. So this is really awesome though, and the ones put out by this company have been really good. I definitely recommend this because, like, even though it's on the Switch, this one's already on Steam. So like if you prefer the PC version, you can go for it. But what's also cool about this is that they're including all of the different versions of the game, including like the Black Label and all that stuff. Like, for anybody who doesn't know, like, Cave games notoriously have like 5 or 6 different versions to just just get harder, basically. And keep being like tweaked in difficulty, that kind of thing. So you could pick the flavor that you want to play, and they're all there. Saidaiojo is the last one, and that one hasn't been brought to a modern platform yet. But definitely looking forward to this. I don't know if anybody has announced a physical version of this yet, but I believe it's coming. This next one is from Lotus as well.
Yeah, just real quick, KOF 15 had another character reveal, and it is Angel, who is a wrestler who has an interaction with Ramon. Ramon said something like, oh, you and I are going to put on a really good show. And I think possibly along with Tizak. I forgot if they were with Tizak. I know Tizak's another wrestler, but you never know what the teams are in the new game, because the whole thing is shatter all expectations. And like Vanessa is on Team Secret Agent, I think, and it's like, what? So there's weird stuff going on. But Angel and Ramon appear to be at least on the same team, I think. But Angel's another wrestler type who I saw described in the comments section as the character that everybody loves and nobody loves to play as, because apparently she's difficult to pull her moves off with. But seems super cool, like a fun reveal. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's just like one of those, like, if somebody can be, like, a high-level player, they'll be, like, really badass.
Yeah, my guess is she's technical or something, but yeah, it seems just difficult to deal with, but has a really cool-looking moveset.
That's awesome.
I don't know, like, I just remember all that Guilty Gear videos I watched for people doing crazy stuff with Potemkin.
Oh, yeah. That's terrifying, yeah.
I can't play as Potemkin, but I have huge amount of respect for people who play as him. And moving on, Mario Golf Super Rush got a stealthy update from Nintendo. They didn't even announce it or anything, which is unusual. They didn't even put it in like a Nintendo Direct or anything. But two playable characters, the Wiggler and Shy Guy. I'm all for some Shy Guy action. I love the Shy Guy.
Wait, the Monster Hunter Wiggler?
No, like the caterpillar character that you used to step on in Mario World. And two new courses, Shelltop Sanctuary and All-Star Summit. So that's pretty cool. I mean, what I really like about those Camelot Nintendo sports games is that they always add tons of content. Like Aces had so much content, it was ridiculous. So that was awesome. Also, we talked about how the Cotton Saturn tribute collection was very disappointing because of the amount of lag. I think I said that there was 12 frames of lag, something like that, in a shmup. Yeah, exactly. And it basically makes the game unplayable. But the publishers of the game, City Connection, are very serious about fixing it. So much so that they are holding a beta to get player feedback. So that is a really good commitment if they're willing to hear
it is, but like I'm assuming feedback. They had QA testing where every single person was like, this game's fucking unplayable. Like that's what always happens with companies. They don't listen to egregious problems unless they literally like crash the game or something. And then everybody complains when the game comes out because it's not hard to find this shit. And then they're like, oh, we better fix it. You should have fixed it the first fucking time.
I mean, this would have been impossible for people not to know about it when they
this isn't like this one boss is trouble. Like this is just literally every second of the game.
12 frames, 11 frames is unacceptable. Especially like if you were playing a visual novel, nobody would give a shit. But like or an RPG, nobody would give a shit. But this is a shmup. Precision matters. So it's I hope that they really make good on it because it was really disappointing, and because these three games were really difficult to find. Just
wanted to say a small thing is like if you're making precision shoot 'em up games, at least make code the game like that. When it lags, it doesn't just stutter; it just slows down. Like I remember playing the Team 17 game Stun GP, where if you had a slow computer, it didn't like go like a like low frame rate was somehow somehow they coded so the game was very slow. And in a racing game that is kind of unenjoyable but still playable.
Yeah.
And in like for example a shoot 'em up game, it would almost would be a cheating because you would play it like slow motion.
Yeah. Well, I have no problem with a game slowing down because of activity, especially in shmups because it kind of helps you. But this is the case where you put an input command in and the game takes long to react. When
Input lag.
yeah, this is an input lag problem, and that's unacceptable in a shmup. Puzzle games and shmups require expert twitch reflexes in order to be good. Fighting games as well, expert twitch reflexes to be good at. And shmups, or first person shooters. Like all of these need input lag to be minimal. And this is terrible. Like it was really bad. So I'm glad that they're actually making a commitment. So that's good. But like you said, it should have been right the first time around.
Yeah, if only there were someone who could tell them that there was a problem. Oh wait, there was. Like that's always the way.
Yeah. Moving on from that, there are a couple rumors going around that are pretty credible. So I usually don't mention them unless they are. But Square Enix looks like they are teasing a Chrono Cross remake, or at least a re-release or something of that regard. And that's not hard to imagine because they've been putting out PS1 era remakes recently and restorations with the Saga Frontier. A few other games during that era. So, what was that?
Just curious, like Chrono Trigger was the game where you're chasing that spiky ball through time.
Yes.
Oh,
like that big monster,
I never
spiky
played it.
monster.
But
I never
the
played
answer
it.
is yes.
Oh, okay.
And the Chrono Trigger is, like Chrono Cross is is that where you fight the cat? Is it cat people?
Yeah. Well, there's at least one links, but yes.
Okay.
Nope, never mind. Oh well.
So I played Chrono Trigger, and I actually defeated Magus. So I actually never got the chance to play as him back in the day. So I need to replay Chrono Trigger because there's like a major character that I like completely missed out on. But what was cool about that game is it had so many ways you could beat the game. Like it was awesome like that. Like I didn't even know that I just thought he was a really hard boss. Like so I just beat him and moved on.
Oh, trust me, like I do remember, I've been playing. There has been an update to the game Adore, and there is a mission where you have to capture a monster that is incredibly difficult, and you either get killed or it get killed, and it is frustrating as hell.
Yeah. But I'm excited about Chrono Cross. I mean, a lot of people really love that game, and a lot of people especially love its music.
The music is like for both Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Like, remember when we played Shut Up and Jam Gaiden, and that one guy was raving about like the save point, the stupid save points, and that one guy was raving about Yasunori Mitsuda and his Keltotropic music.
Keltotropical music.
I still don't know whatever the fuck that means, but like. I remember distinctly saying during the LP, like as much of a meme as that whole post was, Mitsuda's music really is fantastic. Yeah, Chrono Cross, like it's pretty polarizing. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people don't like it because it's so different from Chrono Trigger. And they were like, "Oh, Chrono new game, it'll be another Chrono Trigger," and it really wasn't. So a lot of people got mad, but like nobody has anything negative to say about the music of that game. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, so
I would call Suikoden 3's Duck Village music Keltotropical, so that you can localize it.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I never played Chrono Cross and I've always wanted to. It's just one of those things I never got to. So I definitely want to check that out. Also, there is a rumor going around. Well, it's more like a leak came out, but it's like it's kind of in that stage where it's like, is this like real or is this a hoax kind of thing? But apparently a leak came out about the new Bioshock game, and all we know so far is the possible name for it, which is Bioshock Isolation. And
it's when a Big Daddy chases you through the whole game and you can't kill it, but a flamethrower makes it retreat for a little bit, and you have to hide in lockers to escape it.
Yeah. Somehow,
go ahead.
Somehow it has a long harpoon-like tail for some reason.
I actually really liked Bioshock Infinite. I'm still a fan of that game.
I didn't have the chance to play Bioshock Infinite. I did play Bioshock 1 and 2.
I played all three.
One had the good story. 2 had the better combat.
Yes. Yeah, two had great combat, and it got even better in the DLC. So I definitely recommend that.
Okay.
But.
Yeah. I've played all three Bioshocks. Like, Bioshock 1 is a great game, but, like, I just couldn't...
It's derivative.
Yeah, like, I couldn't enjoy it as much as everyone else did because it was close enough to System Shock to the point
remake.
where I was calling plot twists before they would happen.
Yeah, it's basically a remake. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to whatever they'll do with a fourth game. Because I was like, people rag on Infinite, and I don't I don't understand why.
Infinite's great.
I love that game.
I think
there are things that I dislike about it, but overall I like it.
Yeah.
I think what I've noticed on the game, like, it has an interesting story. What my problem would have been that it had a little bit, like, it was different from what they shown from the trailer, and might have to get people into a little bit of a tizzy. My problem was that the guns were very
samey.
The whole weapon system, not just the weapons themselves, but the weapons. There were not just the weapons were analogs off, but the whole two-weapon system was very Halo-like. I could almost make every weapon almost like there was the 4-shot sniper rifle, the burst rifle, the assault rifle. There was even a fuel cannon from Halo-like weapon.
So, I mostly used the Vigors or whatever they were called. What is it, elixirs or whatever they were called?
The tonics or whatever.
Tonics, yeah.
Tonics, elixirs, yeah.
Yeah,
Vigors, I think they were called
Vigors. Yeah, I was pretty sure I got that right.
Oh,
yeah,
Vigors. Yeah. Those. Yeah. I mean, those are basically just the psi powers in System Shock and the whatever. I guess also psi powers in Bioshock.
Adam powers in Bioshock.
Yeah.
Shoot bees at people. But
yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
But imagine if your entire arm was a hive.
Do you remember that from the old trailer? Where his arm gets all fucked up when he shoots the bees?
Yeah, it was amazing.
It looks like neither of you was having fun.
I do remember. Well, the first weapon where you could shoot bees from your arms was Half-Life, actually.
No, fair enough. But your arm looked like shit in that trailer of Bioshock because you're setting fucking bees.
Like body horror. Yeah, body horror. But
that was the whole thing in the Splicer thing.
Yeah.
So,
moving on from that, just real quick on this. This was also, one that Lotus mentioned. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, this is a real quickie. The Japanese iMode service is shutting down, which means support for a lot of those old, like, Nokia-looking flip phones. So, the reason that matters is that this is the case for games in America too, or anywhere that use cell phone games, even smartphone games, is that stuff is less permanent than even digital games on PC. Like, when you upgrade your phone, that shit is gone. So in Japan, if they're going to drop
Java
support,
phone.
the Java phone. So in Japan, if they're going to drop support for this stuff, this could mean a lot of, like, cell phone games. Like, we need to dump and preserve them. I, in particular, am looking out for 7 games. You'll never guess what they are.
They're all Silent Hill related.
No, only one of them.
Excuse
me, Dracologist?
Snake, and Snake.
Yeah. I want every version of Snake. No,
Yeah. Speaking of Tron.
the Silent Hill Play novel for the Game Boy Advance, Japan only, that actually has some kind of phone component. It specifies this on the back of the box, and I don't even know what it is. So there's that. And then any guesses for the others? It's like if you don't know, once I tell you, you'll facepalm.
Go for it.
To be honest, I didn't follow video like phone games that much.
Neither did I, but these are also, I mean, these are Japan exclusive anyway. 2 Kingsfield games and 4 Armored Core games. Fucking 4.
Oh.
More Armored Core games on mobile flip phones than there were on the PlayStation 1.
Wow. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize this, but during this era of cell phone game, there was not as much like monetization, so there were some pretty cool like
this is simpler stuff. You bought the game and then you had it.
Arcade like games. There are entries in series you never knew had more entries in. Like there are Adventure Island games that are exclusive to this platform. There's like all kinds of stuff. There's like I think there's a Gradius game.
Where there's Gradius, but like we talked about this a long time ago. There's that one Mega Man game that I think might get a fan translation.
Yeah. I mean, there's a Gradius game where you could play as one of the cores, like one of the giant cores. Yeah, you play as the bad guy. It's pretty fun. I mean, like there's some cool stuff there. I always talk about this when we talk about Java phone games, but like the Doom RPG games, I really wish would come to a modern platform because those games were good, and not only that, but they actually have.
Vice.
What's that?
GZ Doom.
Yeah, but you can't play like Doom RPG on them.
Yeah, GZ Doom is how you play just traditional Doom.
Yeah.
GZ Doom is how you play any kind of Doom.
Not Doom RPG.
Yeah, not a mobile game.
I'm fairly sure someone made a conversion. I seen someone made the phone version of one of the Silent Hill games on GZ Doom.
Yeah, that's something I forgot actually. Well, I guess you're saying Silent Hill, but I was thinking the Resident Evil phone game as well.
No, not the Resident Evil. That sort of, I don't know what was that game called. Not Book of Memories, because that was the arena shooter. There was that one Silent Hill game on some sort of cell phone platform, and someone made it onto GZ Doom.
Huh. Bizarre.
So
if that works, then that'd be great.
Like, I mean, they just made a version of GZ Doom where they turned the game into a 3D beat 'em up game. So
yeah, I know there's that one Sonic game that's like made in the Doom engine, and it's like you would never know.
And of Donkey Kong, so you can do a lot of things with that engine. So if you want, I can look it up for you. If it's some fan version of that game that is probably very true to its old self.
That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted I wish that those Doom RPG games were accessible. Like maybe they are, but I just they even added lore to Doom before like Doom had lore with the newer games. So
yeah,
it's pretty awesome. So anyway, there is a big rush to preserve all of these games, and we really gotta like hand it to the Game Preservation Society for even like organizing an effort, because you may not think that this stuff is important, but there are plenty of like developers who got their start making games like this, like simple games or games that didn't have like a gigantic budget, that are like really simple and fun, or kickstarted their interest in a certain type of mechanic. So these games do have significance, and I always say this, like there are so many iPhone and Android games out there that it's like impossible to preserve them. And there's valuable stuff out there. It's just so much junk to sift through that who the hell knows.
You have to reach out for these manufacturers and ask, like, can we have the ROMs or whatever info packets that
pretty
the
much
games contain?
Yeah.
We want to preserve. We are from the game preservation company.
At least with Java phone games, they're not like ad supported, so they don't have to like strip that crap out of it. But I do think that this is a really worthwhile effort, and it's really cool that they are at least making an effort to preserve like the games that we already know are worth it. In terms of like being related to series that we know or published by companies that we know.
If a small personal comment it could be made, I didn't have too much phones, but what I played, I honestly wish that there would be more like turn-based turn-based role-playing games on those phones, rather than all the driving and action games that actually requires precision movement and key, and not me trying to not push the three buttons at the same time because my big bloody fingers.
Mm-hmm. Well,
something that requires less timing.
Yeah. Well, moving on. I do want to be able to finish this because we are running a little over here. But I just wanted to say that something that I didn't expect to see probably ever again. But like within the pandemic, I didn't realize that this was going to be a thing. But like people are going nuts over Spider-Man. 3's tickets. Apparently they're selling out everywhere, and people are like having fights over them. Like it's crazy.
Like it's a fucking movie. Wait one more day.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
exactly.
Not to be confused with Spider-Man One More Day.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, chill out, guys. This is just a fucking movie. Yeah, it's just
the last
a fucking movie.
Spider-Man movie was the multiverse one I saw, and that was it.
Oh, what, Into the Spider-Verse? Yeah, that's the only new one I've seen. The last
the
Spider-Man
Mysterio one is good.
I mean, I'm sure they're all good. I just don't care.
Yeah, understandable. But out of all the Marvel movies, I really like the Spider-Man movies. They're a higher tier than most of them. Like I like most of the funny movies, but like these ones have more heart to them than probably any of the other ones, if you ask me. So other than maybe Guardians of the Galaxy has a lot of heart too. So I think the Spider-Man movies and the Guardians movies are like the best out of all the Avengers movies or MCU movies. So but I really enjoy it. This and I'm excited. I mean, they're gonna have the Sinister Six, for God's sakes, and it's made of like people like that have already played them, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's clever.
I mean, it's really cool to have Alfred Molina, who is one of the most iconic like supervillains in like superhero movie history. Return as Dr. Octopus. And they even like take him down a peg. Like, really, that's your name, Otto Octavius? Like, and you're an octopus man? Like,
well,
really?
I mean, they didn't say it to his face, but they did that. They did that in his movie anyway.
Yeah.
When J.K. Simmons was like a guy named Octavius gets 8 arms. What are the odds of that?
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, like Willem Dafoe like hamming it up on screen again, like in his Power Ranger suit. I didn't ever think that was going to happen again.
Like, that is one reason I might actually want to watch this movie. Like, fucking Willem Dafoe. Like, really? Like, okay.
They're even bringing Jamie Foxx back as like Electro, which that's a fucking shock.
I'm something of a recurrent actor myself.
It's like a fucking shock. They're bringing back the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man. Like they basically ignore those Amazing Spider-Man movies, and like the first one was really good. I really like that movie.
The first one.
The second one, half of it's good, and then it goes right down the shitter. But like this is really cool stuff. But anyway, don't hurt anybody over stupid Spider-Man tickets. Come on. Also, I wanted to quickly mention, Lotus, do you know who Don Hertzfeldt is?
The name sounds familiar, so I may know who he is.
Okay.
Is this the animator?
Yes, you are correct, Dracologist. So Don Hertzfeldt was the guy who made the Rejected short from when we first went to college, way back in the early 2000s. So
the mid 2000s.
well, yeah, 2004, right?
Yeah, that traumatized me.
2004. So yeah, so it's like I am a banana and all that.
Oh,
Like,
that. Okay,
yeah. And watch as angry ticks fire out of my nipples, like all those, all that stuff. Well, he's the guy who made that. You know, the
Gorgeous
stick figures.
animation, but I wasn't generally a fan.
Well, he has been making stuff all along that have basically been.
Yeah, like I seen like he made a Simpson opening and like some
Oh, yeah.
very not I wouldn't say nihilistic, but sort of very sort of
Existential, definitely.
existential is
Yeah.
a good word.
Yeah, so
Videos.
he's made these shorts called The World of Tomorrow that he's like been consistently adding to that are very thought provoking but also very funny. But you are correct, but he animates traditionally as well. So he uses film even. He doesn't even use digital. Like he actually just like straight up like makes them the way they used to be made, which is insane because there's a reason why people don't make them that way. It's very, very
Yeah,
difficult.
it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. But the stuff that he has been doing, it's like he doesn't just because he's using film and he's like taking pictures of it. He also uses like real world objects to color the like the surroundings of the pictures. Like he uses like buttons and stuff and like things he cut out and like it's really neat. Like he's using like really cool animation techniques that like you couldn't do digitally. You know,
A little bit of sort of out of the box, out of the fourth wall meta. Thing.
Exactly. Like he'll crumble up like drawing paper too. Like and actually like animate the crumbling.
Well, exemplify, there is a moment in his like Rejected where one of the drawing little doodle character is banging on the paper like it was a screen, and it
Exactly.
like every time he hits it, it like the paper crumbles up into that spot like it was like it was.
And it's actually crumbling. It's not even like drawn as crumbling. Like he's actually like crumbling it. You know, in between pictures, which is really, really neat. You're right, and he I'm sorry.
Carry on.
Oh yeah, so he recently had a Kickstarter, which I missed, but he wanted to put out a new compilation of his first 3 episodes of The World of Tomorrow, which is the existential thing that you're talking about. He adds to it every like few years or so because it just takes him so goddamn long to make it, and he basically makes it all himself. It's not like he has a crew or anything like that. And he had a Kickstarter for the Blu-ray, and it got funded, and he's going to start selling The World of Tomorrow, the first 3 episodes on Blu-ray this week to the public as well. So it's really cool that you know we have Patreon and ways of giving creators independence like that wouldn't have it otherwise. I mean, he's very staunchly against like using his services for advertising and things like that. Like Rejected is basically about that. Like his most famous like early sketch was about the consumerism behind animation. So he all along has been kind of like doing the starving artist thing, and it's cool that he has this independence now through venues like Kickstarter and Patreon. So I just wanted to throw this out there because he's very talented. I really like the animation in general just because of how artistic it is, and I do like its sense of humor. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Go ahead.
Personally, I do not like his sense of humor because I find it a little bit too grim for my taste.
Oh, well, it definitely fits with me because I have a dark sense of humor and always have. But yeah, I'm a fan. And lastly, I'm only gonna mention this because I mentioned this earlier, but I did pick up some Black Friday stuff. I got Paper Mario and the Origami King cheap from GameStop, and I also got Ghost of Tsushima, Lotus, on your suggestion.
Very nice. And I got Resident Evil
great.
Village.
Oh, nice. That's good too.
Nice.
Can't wait to play it in 10 years.
And it'll be retro by then.
That's the whole. I still haven't played fucking Resident Evil 2, so you never know.
What a treat. And this last one is yours.
Well, yeah. Rest in peace, Stephen Sondheim, but like just the king of Broadway forever, who just produced all sorts of music and I think lyrics for some of the stuff he did too, like West Side Story and stuff like that. This guy's just like an endless legend. Even if you've never heard of him, there's a chance you've heard of him.
I mean, he's up there with like Gershwin and like all the other like really popular ones. His most famous one was West Side Story. I think you did mention, but he also made Sweeney Todd, which was his other big one. There's quite a few other ones, but like those are his two big ones. So I'm sad to see him go, though. But he did have a good long life. Yeah, he did have a good long life. All right, and anything else for the good of the order, gentlemen?
Yeah, one thing super quick.
Sure.
JoJo Part 6 anime starts airing tomorrow. Get ready.
Yeah, they revealed the intro, didn't they?
Yep.
Well, hey.
Yep.
What song are they going to use? Did they use a rock song? A classic rock song?
No, that's for the ending credits. The openings are original.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the ending credits. It might be original. It might be something we've heard of before. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed, like, for Part 5 had Enigma as a closing credit song.
Enigma?
Yeah.
Enigma, like the guys who made, like, the Return to Innocence stuff.
Oh, yeah. And it was I
like,
Want You was Part 4, right? The Chicka Cherry Cola song? Yeah, that one?
Yes, but these series go on for a while, so they typically have two ending themes. But yeah, like Savage Garden was one of them, I believe.
Walk Like an Egyptian in Part 3, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was another one where that
Roundabout.
was the first ending thing, I think. That was pretty clever.
I really liked Yes, though probably the best.
Roundabout.
Roundabout.
Yeah. I think that was definitely the coolest, especially when it like next time on like that whole meme.
Because like it wasn't even the
meme.
song; it was just that they would always start playing it just a little early, so when the to be continued arrow hit, the more impactful part of the song kicked in. So like whenever you start hearing the song being played, you're like, oh, episode's about to end.
Yeah, it was very iconic. I loved it. Anything else, gentlemen?
Solo Nobre must fall.
Well, that's the show for this week. We please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday, where we will continue our discussion about Ghostbusters, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture over there on Corrective Consciousness. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, I'm currently doing Salt and Sanctuary, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me on Skype, but only a little because I don't use it too much anymore, but you can definitely find me on Discord, and you can find me on Steam under the name Dracologist. Right now, Twitch is down.
Well, thank you for everything, folks. We will catch you on Thursday then. Catch ya.
Until next time, everyone.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.